You know, with Jerry, the sky is the limit because you can't get above the atmosphere like I could.
That's true. Actually, that's one of the helicopters that was assigned to my platoon in Vietnam, and I believe that I flew. That wasn't my primary helicopter, but I think I flew that particular one on a few occasions.
Oh, so you're a pilot there?
Yeah.
Helicopter pilot?
Yes, and this particular aircraft has been restored and everything else. It is currently flyable, as you can see, because that's Georgia in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But that was actually it was actually damaged in Vietnam. It was mortared, and it is it was repaired, went back into service, and then came out of service when the company returned back to the U.S. But I do remember the tail number on this aircraft, but I don't remember who the crew chief was or what missions I flew it on. I could probably go. I don't know where my logbooks are. I have to get them from the VA.
While we're waiting, you might enjoy our sunset.
Oh.
Pretty washed out.
You can't see it.
No.
Can't see it with the dawn.
Oh, we'll have to work with Fotoxx later. It's kind of pretty, but you can't tell that way.
Yeah, I do have a Fotoxx question. This is actually edX. This originally, you've got an old black and white print.
Mm-hmm.
And can we scan that in and clean that up?
Yes.
Yes. There are trade-offs, but sometimes it's just excellent, and sometimes there's more problem in the old print than you thought.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Dick. One of the issues that I had when I scanned some black and white prints, there were some imperfections in the prints which were also on the negatives. And what I tried to do with GIMP was like to use the ellipse tool to put a circle around the imperfections. But when I saved the JPEG, the circle did not save with it. And I'm wondering if Fotoxx has a similar tool that will save the circle when saving it.
Oh, yeah. In Facebook.
What?
I think the circle I would use for cleaning out something.
You mean Fotoxx?
Didn't you say in Facebook?
No, Fotoxx.
Okay, in Fotoxx, I do think you'd have to use two separate tools, or at any time you want, do a standard screen print with your computer, and then put that into Facebook, Fotoxx. The working circle, if you're using a circle, you can set it for line width and shape and color, but it's only while you're doing the work. Of course, if you do a print screen while you're doing the work, you've got it. My other thought would be to go afterward and put the circle back where you want it. We have tools for writing shapes as well as text, etc.
But there's no layers, so once you save it, it's there permanently.
Unless you go back again.
Yeah, because I was able to type in like a copyright item and like superimpose it on the image. That had saved, but was surprised that the circle didn't. But all right, I'll install Fotoxx and have a look at it. Thanks.
Well, the circle is part of the temporary working tools for that circle. you can add a circle later easily enough with Fotoxx, or as I said, a print screen. By the way, I don't think I'd do a scan for the old photo. I think I'd just hold it down flat, maybe under a piece of glass, and take a photo of it. Save the price of a scanner or getting up and walking over to it.
Depends
No,
on
I
which,
get no. I have a scanner here. I actually read something online that you could. And I haven't actually tried this, but they say that you could actually scan the negative on a standard flatbed scanner if you put a sheet of glass over the negative, like say you took it out of a picture frame. Like I
Right.
said, I haven't actually tried it, but I think it'd be interesting to see if it works. But no, the film in question was over 25 years old, and it looked like that on the negatives, the coating of the emulsion was starting to wear off, and that had showed up in the finished print.
It's also possible to clean the print or the negative, but I would do everything I could before I tried that, just in case. And you can look up online some of the recipes. I think it might depend on the particular film and things like that, but there are people who go in and clean them up 50 years later. You need a photo archaeologist. New word, new job.
oh,
By the way, I'll mention it later, but my camera is not terribly heavy, and it works fine. So I used to carry around big cameras when I was going to get photos and not carry them around the rest of the time, but this is always in my pocket. I get a lot more photos. Any other general questions?
Well, I got one thing. I'm seeing on the screen, I'm seeing the DM logo for you, but on YouTube, I actually see the picture.
I'm confused.
Yep.
Seeing my picture on my screen.
Yeah, now I'm seeing me.
Are other people seeing my image? This one?
Not me.
I'm seeing a lot of people switching between the image and the default icon for them, just back and forth. It's probably
I think that's a Jitsi issue.
Yeah, some kind of network latency issue.
Yeah.
If it's showing a DM, you might just click on that and see if you get the image.
Nope.
I'm seeing two of me. I'm seeing one of me over on the right side.
Video for Dick Miller has been turned off. Or
Let's say it not.
went flashing. Okay.
Start stop camera.
Now we got you. Now it's fine.
I'm puzzled. It did not have a slash through it.
Mm-hmm.
I claim innocence.
Okay.
I'm
At
still
least if
seeing.
I find them, I'll claim them.
hard to find innocence these days, though.
Yours or mine? Said microphone stopped working.
Ed, it's showing you are muted.
Nope.
Ed says his mic has stopped working.
Yeah.
I haven't muted anyone.
Yeah.
I'm hoping most people will keep their mics off most of the time. Then anyone who wants can put it on briefly while they're talking.
Just click on the graphic on the bottom and see if you can unmute it, toggle it a couple of times.
You mean Ed?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right, I'm good.
Yeah,
Good.
Dick's not screen sharing at the moment. Ty.
You'd just be seeing his face.
Oh, I'm not sharing that?
No, you don't want to screen share, otherwise
I
you
thought I was going to
do the
share
whole
that.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
but-
meeting hasn't really started. We're the question and answer period.
We
We'll
do
start at around 7.
the question and answer period first, and then the,
Yeah.
Any questions on my talk?
This is more a general Q&A.
Okay. We'll have to wait until Jabber gets to the transfer point on IO.
Keep an eye on Clark. I don't trust that guy. Those shifty eyes.
Yeah.
Too bad you can't see that sunset. It's kind of nice
getting pink.
and rosy out there. Sort of red, white, and blue. Or light blue, white, and pink.
Yeah, there was a news item out either today or yesterday that the Senate had passed a bill making daylight savings time permanent.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like that, but it'll keep people from having to think 2 times a year. I suppose that's important to some people.
Is that the
Yeah, well, there's some medical issues.
Are there more legislative steps?
Well, the question is whether
Yeah, it has to go
circadian
through the House too.
rhythm will kick in. But what amazed me, it was a unanimous vote.
Mhm.
When's the last time you heard that?
Yeah.
Right.
The only thing we can agree on is stop changing the time zone.
I think the thing that's really important there is that everyone be on the same page. I don't think it really matters which way we go as long as everyone's in sync.
Yeah, I'm not. If solar noon is always off by some larger amount, then if it's not as close as it can be, I don't care as long as we stay in one time zone and don't leave it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I remember before the current legislation that you go to Indiana, almost every county was in a different, was either in daylight savings or standard time or in a different time zone. Indiana was crazy. It used to be crazy. That got fixed during the Bush administration when he changed the dates.
As far as I'm concerned, all the clocks that matter to me update automatically anyway, so I never have to worry about it.
Yeah, same here. The only ones that don't update automatic is here's the one on the microwave
Right.
and the one on the stove.
Yep.
I never even expect those to.
Right.
And the clock in my bedroom, too.
My
My
watch,
desktop.
my new watch didn't update automatically, and I thought it should. And then I turned on my smartphone, and instantly the watch changed time.
Yeah, the watch syncs to the smartphone.
Right.
Right.
Its brain is elsewhere. I know the feeling.
And our thermostat has its own clock not connected to the internet, which is annoying.
Both, all 3 thermostats in this house, that's a rental house, are different makes and different networks and different apps. to control them.
Network says,
So I've got, and I checked the one upstairs in the bedroom, which is one that I changed times. That actually had the correct time on it. So that knew about daylight savings.
I did not
No
get.
IoT in our house.
I saw a message go by, but I didn't get to read it in time.
Just go down to the chat or something.
Is Fotoxx on the AUR for Arch Linux?
I don't think I know the answer.
So what is AUR?
Yes.
What is AUR? I think we lost him.
We didn't have his mic, did we? I can tell you that I tend to look at two repositories, and the Ubuntu Software Center does not list it. And I think I've seen it. Good. I always go to home base anyway. I get the latest, and often I want the beta. And I'll talk a little about that too once we get started. Art. I don't. Sure.
Yep.
I tend to use Synaptic and the Ubuntu, and once in a while I'll go look at a couple of the other ones. Good. It's in a lot of places.
Mike has
I mean, generally, what's it, Ken Cornelison? Updates locally, and it takes a while for any of the updates to get onto the repos. So the repos are behind times a little bit, but unless you need some new features or something else, getting them from the repos is my preferred way, because I go back to the days when you could get really into RPM hell when you get packages that are both in the repo and outside of the repo.
And a little different.
And it used to be a real mess. They've cleaned up a lot of that.
Well, on this one, it's easy to go to home base. It's got one major developer, and he's friendly, and
yep,
it's a win.
Yeah.
And by the way, everyone already has that address. It was in the announcements, I think. Almost there. Sun already down?
Yes.
Yes. So it almost made 7. I think in a day or two it gets to 7 p.m.
Yeah, I'm answering Bill's message right now about your Snap package with Thunderbird.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Bill, as in Bill Ricker?
No, Bill Bogstead.
Ah.
I hear somebody with voices in the background.
Think that might be Jerry's television?
My television is off. That's probably my wife. Let me tell her to go in the other room. She's talking on the phone.
In a chat room that my friends use, somebody one time walked away from the console and left a Amazon surveillance thingy turned on, and it was responding to the chat room, which was really annoying after the first time.
Mhm.
We didn't have to wait for AI for problems.
I kicked her out.
I do believe it's 7 p.m.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 7 p.m. and we have a lot of interested parties. So let's go ahead and start the meeting before I fly away. I need to get to LZ Uplift.
Shall I just start talking?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, folks. I know some of you. I don't know some of you.
Unmute
I'm
everyone else.
Dick,
Oops.
I'm Dick Miller, and my wife is very nearby, Jill Miller, and we own Miller Microcomputer Services, which has been specializing for more than 10 years and maybe almost 20 years in Linux. Took us a while to find it. It's 31 years old, but who's counting? And after a while, we thought it was so good that we ought to give it away once a month, and we started a Linux user group and other FOSS out in Natick. Now, your group is out in Natick as much as it's in Boston, and ours is in Boston as much as it's out in Natick. We may have a friend or two hook in from California, from France, just as easy. How amazing. Well, let's see if I can get two windows up here. I'm about to say goodbye face-wise and run two screens. If I can, on this one, be nice if I could. Good. Some more up here. I have the icon I'm looking for, Fotoxx. And with a little luck, it'll load in this window and you can see it. Oh, okay. The hell with it. I'll work from the one window for now. I'll simply enlarge it. I guess I'm going to have to, there it is. And are folks able to see this window with an image in it? Or are we going to
Did you
have to?
share your?
No,
Well,
just
did not, right?
no. I don't see the
Can't I?
your image. I don't see your face.
Okay, work on it.
Select the window. Oh, you can do entire screen?
Yes.
I saw his face.
Okay, it looks like we see your desktop now.
You can see it. Good.
Yep.
Okay. We will start
You mute me audio.
by looking at an image that was created with Fotoxx. I thought Fotoxx was for photos. In fact, Botox for photos, Fotoxx. But it works for a lot of things beyond photos also. We'll be looking at both of them. I introduced Fotoxx to this group almost 4 years ago. And it doesn't look that different, but it's smoother, it's faster. Some tools have been added, a lot of tools have been trimmed a little better, and some names have changed to be more self-evident. With a lot of languages being supported, sometimes I'm the one who volunteers for that role. And a lot of other people help, of course, in many ways. But the main author of Fotoxx is Mike Cornelison. Mike is from Texas. He's lived in Boston quite a while, and he's now in Germany. So we've got a good mix of things there in terms of his background, and he can certainly talk with us in honest-to-God Boston English. Let's see, what else should I tell you about? He's a good programmer. I think I'd like to get on a little bit. I prepared a little bit of a special album. In Fotoxx, you can set up files. The photos themselves are files. You can put them into folders. But within Fotoxx, you can also set up albums with your choice of name and what you want. I opened one for this group. And if you look up next to the top line, the album name is fotoxxtalkblue.org and today's date. So
basically a virtual folder.
Yeah, sort of a virtual folder. And it doesn't have any photos in it. It has links to the photos in it. Makes for some interesting trade-offs. Fast, small. Let's play. So this is the first item I had in it. Let's look at that actual album contents. Here we go. That's the one I'm using. And I can go right on next one now that I've made that point. We're talking to you from Natick. And at sunrise some days, the front of our house looks out on a pretty nice scene. And that's my little pocket camera. And my little pocket camera, which other people think is a smartphone, can take pictures like that, or almost like that. Almost, because then we moved to Fotoxx. By the way, this is an older one. Look down on the roof, and I can see little splotches there. The dark areas, here's some too, are picking up a little extra junk. And I can tune that down. One of the changes in the last many years. So that's an example. I'll just move right on to the next one by hitting the right arrow key. And from the back of our house, it's even nicer at sunset. You didn't see the sunset, but here's one from not many days ago, last week. And nice view. Very bare on the trees. It's winter time. But there you have it. This was a few days before, I think, maybe after. But as you know, this last week has been interesting weather-wise. Same place, a narrower view. That's a mile up to the other end of the lake. And the lake is the middle pond of Lake Cochituate, the smallest of its three major ponds. It's a chain of lakes. So we're at the south end, looking northwest, and that's about a mile away. This big chunk of ice down here is ours. That is to say, the ice melted off days before, but up the north end of the lake, a big chunk of shielded by trees in here, and it slowly floated down the lake because there's a big circulating current that goes around and it goes out in here. So this all moved down from the other end of the lake after our ice melted off. And a little interesting clue as to the kinds of environment we get to know about here. This is the same view from a little higher up. And this house and this house are on our street, which is departing from Route 9 in Natick. And it's angling off. And we're about three more houses the same street. So we're just in here looking up that way to the end of the lake. In our view, on this day, that circulating current was moving the ice faster from here. The rest of the lake still had ice cover. And close, this little hint here is the Mass Pike cutting across. And it is the North Pond of Lake Cochituate, bigger than this one, although it's spread out there. And Wayland is up in here. So we're almost into Wayland in North Natick. The other interesting thing in this picture, unless work here, is the Cochituate Rail Trail and where we can walk in from our side street, go along Route 9 and up this ramp onto the trail. 4 miles, a lot of us are along parts of Lake Cochituate, including to the south of us. And it's a spectacular. If you want to come out and walk it with us on a nice day, give us a call. So we worked hard, by the way. Jill and I are the people who introduced the rail trail project to Natick and fought to have it finally done. The last 2 blocks will connect it to the railroad station in downtown Natick like the old railroad did. And that's still waiting to happen. But you get to downtown Natick, just short of the railroad station, and all the way up to Saxonville and Saxonville Falls and Saxonville Mills on the Sudbury River in Framingham. Very, very nice rail trail. Come find out. Let's see. By the way, that's not from my camera. We owe that to the Natick Engineering Department. That's a picture from down my level using my camera. And you see it's going by the lake near our house, and it's quite nice. Well, I didn't get to see you for a few years, so I want to celebrate for last year, the 30th anniversary of Linux. I like the comments. Linux is pretty reliable. It's good enough to run a helicopter, not just Jerry's, but on Mars. Jerry was a little too early for that, and he never got to Mars. By the way, a little piece of me got to the moon. I've got a project that's sitting up there turning into garbage now. And 100% of the world's top 500 supercomputers. Wow. Like they say, not bad for 30. Since then, things have changed. I thought I'd bring us up to date bit by bit with this little notice. And then go, by the way, I grabbed that from the web and resized it and cropped it with Fotoxx. Fotoxx can do things like this, but all I had to do was add the wording to it and change the color of the car, I believe. This is the color of our car. Like Jerry, we have an EV, so we don't have to worry about the gas price directly anyway, and hopefully someday not indirectly. That's one of the pictures I'm going to play you with. Are we done with the intro or not? Yes, no. I want to remind you that only 2 days ago was Pi Day. We celebrate it religiously in our home. This is from a year ago. That's a pizza pie, as you can see. It's labeled. And this year, we did it a little different. We started with breakfast. And Jill has learned how to do artwork on pancakes now. Here's your pie. It was delicious. And then for dinner, we had a square pizza pie. And a lot of people think that that's not okay. It has to be round. But they're wrong, because pi are square. Now you know. And now we're into photos. I'm going to go back and pick up this photo. And the reason I'm picking it up is I'm going to do a first bit of work with Fotoxx. As we go, I'll be introducing parts and mentioning new things where I can, but so many of them are just embedded in and just running faster or cleaner. My little pocket camera has replaced my other cameras. It's 4K resolution, and it's always in my pocket because it's my smartphone. It's an LG V30, or in Jill's case, an LG V30 Plus, identical but double the RAM. And 64K is good, 128 G's. K. G. I'm corrected. Hers is double the size. I don't care. I can put a few hundred photos into this and dump them out into my computer afterward. And this is the raw image that my phone moved into the computer. And it's fairly sharp, not super sharp, but let's look at the license plate, for instance. Okay, I've got a lot of pixels in there from that little camera. And the little camera's always with me. And the little camera might cost you $100 and surely not more than $150 factory refurbished. This one had a choice camera, that's why we went for it. And we specialize in cheap. We want good solutions that are inexpensive. So the camera is one example. I'll come back to that as we go along. But here's what it can bring into the computer. Let's see if we'd like to trim it up a bit. My computer is widescreen, 16 by 9, and so is our widescreen TV. And that's the way I'd like the picture to end up. So I normally start by looking up in the center of it for something vertical. I see one here, see it? I'm going to go for it. And first thing I will do is here's a menu on the side. It's not the only menu we've got. If I right click, ooh, might not work right now. Wait till I get in.
That's a double click.
Back, I say. That was a right click that brought it back to fill the image. So let's see. The first thing I would like to do is in the edit set. Each of these is a set of tools. Each one of them is well identified. And as you get to use it for a while, they'll suggest themselves ahead of time. This is the actual set of photos I'm working on today. Here's where we started, remember? And we're over here. Back and forth, in and out, lots of ways. Maps. Come on, guys, you can do it. Most of my photos are from around Massachusetts, New York, Maine, that kind of area. But a few from elsewhere and a few from some unexpected places. And some of these are photos I liked so much I brought them in. They're not mine, but oh boy, now it's blue, white, and red out there. Really nice. But some of them are not mine. I don't know why they're in the middle of the ocean. They might be sat-nav pictures or ocean pictures on the sea, but I like them. I know why this one is there. Remember late last year, a giant cargo ship got caught sideways in the Suez Canal? Right there. I doctored up some pictures of it. Maybe we'll go look at them later. But anyway, you can find your pictures by location. If your camera was smart enough to put in latitude and longitude, or you located them later. And so many things you can do. I'm going to start with one of the most popular ones, edit, because I'm editing photos. And I'm going to start, remember I said rotate was where I wanted to start?
Don't you need? Yeah.
Let's try what we can do with rotate. The cursor is already blinking very tiny vertical bar next to the 0 in rotate degrees. So I don't have to go up and put my cursor in there. I've got a big fat cursor, so you back me well. And I don't have to. I can just go to my down arrow and up arrow, and I can rotate it. But how will I know when it's vertical? I'm going to quit, and I'm going to hit G for grid. I can set that grid to be anything I want, and that's what I want. I believe it's 100 pixels apart. I'm not sure I'm right, but we can go look later. But that's the one I have set as defaults. And now that I have that, it'll make more sense to go back on the edit. I'll bring that back in a minute. And rotate. And the cursor again is back where I want it. And now I can line that vertical that's about center right against the grid lines. It's awfully close, but just because I can, it says 0 for the rotate degrees. That looks even better to me. Half a degree, and we've got what I want. I'll say, okay, I could go straight to crop. In fact, maybe I will. Nah, I'll say okay. And the reason I'll say okay is the next thing I think I'd like to do. I'm looking for verticals that are away from center. I see the hint of one up here. I think that's a window or the garage door maybe. And it looks like it's slanted some. So I'm going to work on that next. To do that, I'll go over to warp and I'll keep my grid on so I can see what's going on. Warp on bend is enough for this, but I have a lot of options and I'll pick that one. I want the sides to bend, not the top and bottom. I don't want to do curves. Unbend the curves. Spherical images might require that. I clicked on that one. That little tiny cursor is in there. Now let's see if I can shrink it. If I'm right, the center is still straight. Still not there. And the window's about right now. I think I got that. It's still a little bit of perspective on it. Ah, wait a minute. This image over here is much better to work with. I think it's, well, maybe it's not vertical. Jill, do you know if that's vertical?
Pretty close.
Okay, I'll believe that's vertical. We'll get it straight. Wrong way. This one wants a little speeding up right now. It's not working in real time. You remember the other one was. I expect we'll see that change shortly. There we go. I'll leave it at that. So that's what I'm going to call the shape I was after. Now I'll say okay. And now I can get rid of my grid. But look, up toward the top, I've crimped the working window for the image itself. It slants in on the upper half of the edges. So I think I'd like to do a careful crop, edit, crop. This is how you start many pictures. If I take it with my camera, I almost never have to rotate. It has a GPS sensor and knows vertical and keeps the picture horizontal, even if I don't keep the camera horizontal, if I've set for that. So this looks pretty good. I'm going to start, I'll move this to the side a little so we can see both at once. I'll set it to max. That's as much of a rectangle as it can get out of what's left of the image. And I want it about that wide, but I want 16 by 9 for my use on my computer and on my TV. By the way, if you folks aren't pumping photos into your TV, give it a try. You'll like it. I think that upper left corner is right about where it can fit. I can drag this one down a little until I go too far. I'll go too far on purpose. And it still looks very tight on the top, so I'll move it up a little instead. It's now clipping a little on both sides up top. And I will lose transparency if I save it this way. That doesn't matter for a lot of purposes, but I have an auto button over here that will keep the locked ratio and size it to where I'm overhanging a bit. 1, 2, 3, go. It's perfect fit now with the touch of a button. And that's okay. That's what I want. That's the picture I'm going to use. And with that picture, let's start playing games. The normal thing I do once I have my final size of the picture is I want to clean it up a little, refine. And Voodoo 1 is the tool I use the most here. Voodoo 2 is rather extreme. It's interesting for effects. But Voodoo 1 will also do very nice correcting and a little sharpening. Sharpening, let's see. You might look at the bolts label over here as I click Voodoo 1. And you might look at the general coloration. It may change, it may not, depending on how well balanced it already is. It color changed a little bit, and the bolt sharpened a little bit. I might sharpen the bolts a little more by going to Repair Sharpen. And I have it set for one standard one of many. These are all different algorithms for sharpening. And I have this one tuned to a very slight, modest amount of sharpening. Hopefully it'll look sharper without looking weird. We'll find out. Apply. The bolt got even sharper, and I think I still like it. I'll stick there. The grid got sharper. I can see texture over in the Chevy emblem here. It did improve. I'll say, okay, let's keep it. And that could be a finished photo. If so, I'd right-click on it and edit the metadata, and I'd put in a different file name. I'll keep the file name, but I'd give it a title. But good enough. Did I hit enter? I didn't mean to. And add things here like, oh, it's just wonderful, one of my favorite photos. And I can put where it is, and if my camera knew about it, and it did, it moved down the latitude and longitude to the point where it doesn't just find your house, it finds the chimney hole in your house, and really accurate. And
well, as accurate as your GPS on your phone.
Yeah, providing your phone is that good. And your satellites are where they should be. So this one got it. The original photo put that in. This is telling me what steps I took. I don't need that. I have it set just for the moment as a record. When you're learning, you might find this option very valuable. But my description might be, it's an EV, no more gas stations, or something like that. I also have a zillion image tags in here.
Or you can make
I can add more. I can change them. I can remove them. And this is my set. It started with a very sparse set. But that sunset and sunrise picture, they were tagged this way so I could find them quickly out of a few thousand images in my favorites. And many more in the full set. And you can see I have some favorite people, I have some favorite places, favorite things, and then no category, a ton of stuff. And I keep adding things as I get enough photos in that category. Then I go back, and all I have to do is say, it doesn't say it's a car, does it? Well, it is, so let's call it a car. Bing, there's car. It's in my recent tags. So for my next photo, I can pick it out again if I want. It'll be with me until I shut down Fotoxx or tell it to change to clear the deck. And meanwhile, car is available on this edge as a tag. And we can say Dick and Jill and Natick. And that's all marked already on it now. Any one of those, I can do a search and I'll get my new picture once it's saved. It's not saved yet. So for the hell of it, I'll save it. We now have it Rated, we have it everything but location here. I can do that too. Then I can search in that category.
Oh, did you apply it?
And then I have to apply it to the image once I have it all right. And I'll say cancel. It's already part of the image. And the image hasn't been saved. I want to save the image. I'll save it as a new version. And now it's got that version v.03 up here. It wasn't there before between the HDR and the JPEG. And the next time I do it, it'll be on this edge, it'll be v04. So I can just take it out later if I want. But meanwhile, I can go back to my full album, and that's where we were playing. But I could do a search, a metadata search. And here's my meta search ready to go. It looks just like where we were. And all I have to say is, what I'd like you to find for me isn't that, it's that. Go find. And it says, this is what I've got, this marked car. All kinds of stuff from back when. There's when Miller Microcomputer Service stopped supporting Forth and moved across from Windows to Linux. Or nice, and that says it was 2005, December 1st. And we were taking pictures as big as this that year. The camera was more expensive, but it took smaller pictures, didn't have the resolution we have on that little camera. So these are all about cars.
I don't know about you. I might go back to Forth.
Yeah, Forth is interesting. We were using Forth because our computers were too small to do big jobs well without Forth. It's wonderful for making a computer act larger.
Yes.
But my computer thinks I'm large enough. So it is interesting, a wonderful language. Be happy, Jerry, and we will be happy to talk about it someday. But our computers were good enough, and we went nuts over free open source software. We're trying to give people inexpensive solutions, and the free software was already good, and of course, nowhere near where it is now. So any one of these pictures is available for instant looking, or going back to the gallery being, if you will, a temporary album for what I just asked for. And all these different kinds of images having to do with cars, including one that looks a little like ours there.
Just went by one. There.
This is when it was visible.
There. Down here, where my finger is.
This is the one we were playing with, I think.
Yes.
No matter, because I think, whoops, I didn't want that. Because I want to go to the new one, and to go to the new one, I'll just look for this. This is the wrong album. I'll go back to the main album. There we are. I hit the A button to get back to my main album currently. And
doesn't have the new one.
Bummer, doesn't have the new one. No matter. It's close enough, and I'll play with it. What I want to do next was to get a little more artsy. I save it somewhere, by the way. Well, none. So I think the next thing I will do is play with some effects. There's a lot of effects in here. First one I think I'll go to is cartoon. And I have a lot of things I can play with here. And I can just try it as is, apply. Up here it says busy. First thing you've seen that took working time. And it came out this way. Interestingly different, but not by much. Let's try something different. Crank this down a lot. Crank the line width. I'll say up a bit. Say 5. And I'll try go a hard depth of 3. And we'll try that. Busy up top. And done. Now it's beginning to look like a cartoon. See what's going on? I think I'll stop right there and say, okay, and go right back in and look for more effects. Like say, for instance, let's try the sketch. We're going to take out our charcoal and turn it into a sketch. Someone was asking if it could work with old black and white photos. We're going the other way here, but hell yes, it can. So you can change the foreground and background colors. Let's see, well, back to our color if we can. This is only close. Let's for custom. And our color might be a little more like so, maybe. Huh. I think. We'll find out very shortly. Crawled up on me. Better. Select. Okay. Nah, got too much of the background, same color. Oh, because I'm in monochrome now. Anything that isn't total white will look that way. I can adjust. But anyway, that's the point. I wanted to demonstrate some of these tools. If you can't decide what color, effects. How about alien colors? And you can change that wildly by changing these. And et cetera, et cetera. Not effective for this one. I'd rather go back. Luckily, we have an undo. And I could go back in there.
We can undo it a second time.
I can undo all the way back to where I began with left clicks. And by the same logic,
why are you zooming in?
I went too far. By the same logic, I can undo forward by right-clicking, by left-clicking, which I'm doing with 2 fingers on the touchpad for your information. So we have all of that available, the whole trip, and I can go back and pick up and try again, and I will. I'll say effects, and let's try color depth. Maybe I can get rid of some of that by getting a color depth of, say, 3. Very few choices of color. Much closer to what I wanted. Let's see what I get with 2. Okay. Well, maybe we should brighten it some.
Maybe you should go back to the one that has colors.
Edit, retouch. And first of all, it looks pretty dark. Maybe a little brighter will help. And maybe a little more contrast will help. Saturation, let's see. Contrast up, brightness down.
Contrast down, brightness up.
I think contrast wants to be up.
I think it should.
But you never know.
You should go back to the original colors.
Anyway, that's some of the hints of tools involved in that. Let's listen to Jill. She proposes.
Live streaming is on.
And now that we're back to by the way, look at the windland down here. It's sharp, but it looks a little freaky. We didn't back up as far as we might, but that's okay. Let's stay here because remember we used warp to make things vertical out toward the side. Now we can go in with warp. And one thing we can do is, let's try twist. Other things you can do with your car. We'll keep the center in the center. No, maybe we'll move the center over here. Like about. And rotate. We could rotate, but I don't think we will. Oops, I said I don't think we will. My touchpad is set to go fast, which is good almost all the time. There we are. And now let's do the twist. Either way, it'll look sort of like this. Or this. Or this. And that's not nearly what I want. I want something more like this and get the center back. Getting there. It's not working as well as I wanted. But that's my car. Luckily, we can get it back. It's not as good a demo of that. I'll find something better to demo for that one. But that's a tour through a few of these settings. Now that we've used it, let's back and look at the settings. File, you can open a new file or an existing one. New session for the new one. You can change the folder you're looking for it in. You can rename anytime. Lots of things are sort of obvious. You can store a blank image, just clean the slate. You can copy or move, so you can put the file in another folder or in the message you're sending to somebody, the mail program. You could also just put it in the clipboard. And this one I use a lot, copy to clipboard, but I don't go here to use it. I have another set right over here, right click and copy to clipboard. And that's the one I'd usually use. I just clipboard it and maybe size it first. Here's a resize. And it can do lots of things you want. And as I said, it's a 4K image when it starts. I usually mail things out at 800 wide. It's big enough to see it, and you can enlarge it once or twice and still have fairly good resolution. So I pick 800, and the way I do it, if I want the size, it's already locked. And since lock is on, I just change this to 800, and then I press tab, and the other automatically sizes itself to the same ratio. Or I could change the ratio if for some reason I wanted to. First, on this, it's telling me the ratio I'm working at is an actual ratio too. So a lot of things are easily done with it. Anything else in there I care about a lot? There's tons of permissions. You can set it so other people can't edit it. Of course, they can. Anytime someone sends you something that can't be edited, you can make it full screen and print screen. And now you can edit your image instead of that image. You'll lose all the data, the metadata with it.
You may also lose a lot of precision.
Well, you may lose precision. I can take this smaller image and enlarge it and sharpen it. And I may not lose. I may gain precision. It depends on the starting image. Very interesting trade-offs. Jill's right, you may lose, but not you will lose. So let's see, what else we got here? Of course, delete trash. It'll ask you which one you want.
Set it as wallpaper.
This will be the wallpaper for your actual operating system. You just click the button and you got it. So for example, my operating system, get rid of it for the time being. Come on, guys, I know you're there. Where did I put it? I'll go this way.
Why did it go down there?
Here's my desktop. And my desktop changes every 10 seconds, I think it is at the moment. That's on our lake too. That isn't, that's from last week in Puerto Rico. Not me, but I printed it up. God knows where that one is. I like it though. So this is my desktop. It's got the time, it's got the date, it's got a caption if the photo has a caption. And I can set those things as they come and go. And I've got my annotations. The bar is over here, waiting to go somewhere on it and click something. That's my current one. If I go back into the other one, I could take it. It's looking at my own window now, in the window that was active with Fotoxx. But if I click on that window,
they may not be seeing that because I'm not sure that you shared. Did you share your full screen or did you?
Oh, well, no one complained, I think.
Okay.
I hope it works.
We're seeing rotating desktop with a timestamp.
Okay, good.
Are you seeing two windows?
We're seeing Fotoxx and the rotating desktop.
Ah, okay.
Not two windows.
Good. So this one is now a part of the desktop.
Yep.
Can I set it back to Fotoxx? Let's see.
Just make your Fotoxx full screen.
Here's back where we were. I can set that as the desktop instead. For those who like what I'm doing it by running this Variety. I like Variety for a desktop slideshow. And it's telling me to look in my pictures, which is where we've been, but looking at my wallpaper folder within pictures, within a whole, the biggest partition on my computer, which is named user data. That's because I have multiple versions of operating system, and I can boot any one of them, and it looks for my data in user data, the same place. They all share the same stuff that way. So I do it that way, and I've simply trained Fotoxx to look in this pictures area for it, where it goes for its marching instructions for what to look at. And the ones that are called wallpaper are the ones that Variety will use and rotate through. And you can set the, it's at 6 seconds at the moment. And I'll change it to 10. Why not? And maybe not. And I could change wallpaper on start, but I like to come back to the one I left. Sometimes I want to make a point of it or something. And it's got lots of other folders it can go to online. The astronomy picture of the day is one I added, etc., etc. Very nice program. So an extra present today, Variety. spelled the way it's normally spelled. Highly recommended. You hack it and drag it up into the top bar to work with it and have it go. If I close it, it'll go away from there. I'll have to go back and find it again in my set of installed packages. And it's got other good things in it. It's got effects. It's got, I believe it has smart things somewhere.
You can also download things
Don't
from
see
the
it here.
internet.
Right, it can download all those ones you used to see on your deck, PDP-10, etc. So an interesting program. Gallery is working on whatever you're working on at the moment that is currently set up, and you can give it a name and save it as an album. Album is one of its options. Up goes to the top of your directory, and you can go to home, or in my case, user data, and work your way down to just where you're going. And this is the album we're currently using, if you remember that one. No surprise there. So that's a little bit of flex you can have. I'm done with this image. I'm playing with it. We'll do some more playing with the next image. Oh, I'm not in it, am I? I just look like I'm in it.
Oh, it says it will discard the changes you made.
That's fine. I could keep the changes to this and save them. Nah, it was just a demo. This is our very favorite granddaughter and only granddaughter. This has a problem. She's pretty dark. This is pretty light. The camera did a nice averaging job, but I'd rather feature Claire. So let's see what we can do. It's also tilted. This means old. Before I had my current smartphone, which automatically verticals and horizontates. So let's go in with the tricks we already know. And the first thing I'll do is I'll say we're going to edit and rotate. I did it wrong again. I'm going to make a grid with the G key. That's in here too. You can find it, but the G key is a shortcut. There's a lot of shortcuts once you get to learn them, and you can print them out. Mike Cornelissen has printed them out for you. Under help, you can find shortcuts. Is that true? Fotoxx. Fotoxx help? Later. I'm in a funny mode halfway in here. I've got my grid. Now I'll go back, edit, rotate. And my rotate button is ready for me to rotate it. I'm looking up in the middle of the picture at those windows. Now set them upright to start. And when I think they're about upright the way I like, I'd say that's about it. Now I can play with warp. You know what? I think it's pretty good on the sides. So for the moment, I won't even play with unwarping it. They look pretty vertical too. So I'll say, okay. And I'll take away the grid. And I'll go to crop. And I'm going to max and 16 by 9. You can set other ones of these, by the way, if you're working in some other ratio, of course. I think that's about right on the bottom corner. I think that's about right on the top corner. I think I want it a little higher because the lamppost looks a little strange when it isn't framed right. And now I'll click on auto. Also go out a little tad to fit perfectly. That's the maximum I can get in 16 by 9 where I want it. So I'll say okay. Now, if you remember, the first thing I do is refine Voodoo 1. look at Claire and look at the white line here, say. Let's see if it fixes anything. Not much.
Made her darker.
Yeah, it's about the same from my angle of looking. Anyway, sometimes it's dramatic. I will do the repair while I'm there, the sharpening. We might look at Chung King Restaurant. This is Boston's Chinatown Gateway, and it's from 2012, 10 years ago. And I'll take that and I'll say, let's repair it for the sharpening option. And well, let's go back for a minute. Repair has sharpen blur. Sometimes you want a blurred effect. It's going to be the background for another image, and you can blur it. You might want to denoise it without sharpening or blur. You can defog. You're going to like this on old photos, maybe. When it fogged, that's a great tool.
Or the denoise thing for...
You know about red eyes. It's like red eyes because I use flash. I could take them out. Smart erase, which is what we like to erase. We had a question about this before the official start. Someone wanted to erase some text from a photo, and this is a great tool for that. Remove halo around a bright light, perhaps with strange adjustments. Adjust the RGB or the HL settings. Change the profile for the way the colors are working. You can match colors. You can change brightness. You can do a lot of things. Remove dust might be good for that old photo, and etc. So you might like it a lot. I just want to sharpen, and I'll try a little bit of a sharpening, and I'll apply it. And we want to look at something. I covered the thing I told you to look at. No problem. We can now look at China King and see if it sharpens any as I go 1, 2, 3, whack. Sharpened a tiny amount, wasn't a lot. And I'll say, okay. Claire's hair got a little sharp. I see individual strands here, and they're quite sharp. So now I'd still like to lighten her a little more. Let's go back and see if it did help any yet. Nah, it didn't. She's just as dark compared to the backgrounds. So back we come. Here's where we've been. And I want to go in and try a couple of tricks. I'm going back to repair, and instead of sharpen, oh, sorry, going to go back to refine. And instead of Voodoo 1, I'm going to go to flatten distribution. What's that about? Well, flatten means bring the brightest and the darkest closer together. Make them more both towards gray, but keep the color the same, just less of it or more of it. Don't change the hue itself. So let's see what happens. I'll go back.
Go way up.
Change. Now I'll go way up. Claire got a lot brighter and the background got a lot darker, but totally workable. And if that's what she was wearing and not discoloration, that's an amazing piece of a building left when it got taken down and this got installed. And it's still there, hanging on to the next building. Chinatown has characters there that are quite readable, but the gate has something else on it, and I'm not seeing it. Let me see if I can get to it. I'm going to push just a little harder. That one can go away. And I think I'm getting there. There's a lot of ornamentation on this part of the gate. And can I pull it or not? I don't know. The dark looks okay. Look like it's got those sludgy spots on it. And the D-band bright, I don't know if it'll help or not. Let's go look there and see. Helps a little bit of it. But I'm not getting the effect I wanted in I'm really not seeing as much of that lining decoration on the gate as I'd hoped for. But look how bright Claire is now. Maybe I'll go back a little bit. About thither. Can I cut back on this now? Yeah, I can. I think that's pretty good. I'll say okay. And I'll stop there for now, but I can keep tampering with lots of things, including edit, retouch. We've been mostly playing with rotate crop. Retouch gives me all kinds of tools for brightening everything, changing the shape of the brightness curve, doing brightness only to bring up the red, green, or the blue, a little tad if we want it, to bring up or bring down the saturation. I think it's just a little high there. Well, I don't know. That is now a little high, a lot high, but I think that's about right. Too bright, certainly for Claire. So I might go there and then bring down the red a little, might not, hard to say, but I can do things like that. I can bring down the contrast, or I can bring it up. So we have a lot of fine tuning that can be done to get it just where we want it. And we also have controls for auto black level, auto white balance. For white balance, here's one you can do to try. Click a gray spot for white balance. I guess that's a gray spot. And looks like it was balanced pretty well on that color distribution. So a few more tools you're learning about. And you could save the current settings and reuse them. If you're going through a bunch of old photographs that want about the same fix, this could be golden. You save it, give it a name, then you can load it anytime you want to work on more of those old photographs with the same set. There's a bunch of things you can keep profiles like that and recall them when you want. Let's see. And by the way, this very quickly, as I hope you noticed. Most everything in it works quickly, and Mike is often getting a new algorithm or insight that'll speed up the ones that are still a bit slow. So I would normally say, okay, right-click and edit meta, and mark it up the way I like, name it, that and the other. But today it's just a demo, so I can lose it. And let's see what else we have to play games with. Not far from here, I'll hit a right arrow, and it says, whoa, I'm going to lose this. I'll only have the original if I go forward. But that's okay. I'll say, it's okay, I want to discard it. And now we come to the next one. This is going to be fun. Let's make fractals. I gave you a free extra program, Variety. Hope you remembered, noted it down. But now we're going to add another one, another freebie. It's an X pronounced classic Greek style. Chaos. Chaos, like a K, or like the CH we pronounce as a K in chaos. So let's go see what it is. Well, if we're lucky, it won't be far away. I've got a few games in here, and that's sort of with the games, I think, or near them. No? I thought it was. I went a little too far, I guess. Here we go. Back you go. There it is, chaos. Is it there? Not obviously so. Okay. Better. And that was a control 0 to get it to the standard size. I did a control plus by accident. And I'm still looking to load chaos. Be down a little under this, like about there. Better. And I have a little notice on. I'll smallify this a bit so the notices fit better. Interesting. Tough. I guess I won't. This is chaos, and it's one of my 3 favorite fractal composing programs. The second one is called Mandelbulber, like Mandelbrot going around changing the light bulbs. And the third one is called FractX, just the letter X, and it's all one word, FractX. On this one, they're all quite responsive. Some of you will remember ASCII pictures of fractals a million years ago, and this runs a little faster than that did. All I do is I pick any place on it and click and hold. If I want to steer it, I just drag a little the way I don't want to steer it, like say to there, or back down to there, or into here, and put that in the center. Oh, my thing's open. This will be going, when it was moving fast, I've got my other stuff doing some blocking, I think.
Well, Jitsi uses a lot of bandwidth.
Yes, of course, Jitsi is slowing it down. It's pretty fast anyway, but it can be faster than that. And this is way down inside. And notice the background colors are going by level. They're not smooth. I like them smooth. By the way, this is the dark hole in the center of the universe as Mandelbrot envisioned it. I'm going to go in and click on fractal and outgoing mode, because one of its tricks is, I didn't mean that. I'll back up. Edit or new. And that's where we were. Fractal. Outgoing color mode. Come on, guys. It's not paying attention. And smooth. And there you have it. It will be a little faster, but it does take a second or so. And it's now all nicely smooth. I happen to like that. Let's see what else it's got. And then we'll go over to play with it elsewhere. So here, in File, you could save it. You could go back to another one. You could do various interesting tricks with it. Here you undo or redo. Fractal has formulae I'll play with them a little later, I think. It also has more formulae. This has a lot of tools in it for doing different things. User formula. You can invent your own Mandelbrot algorithms. And much more. One obvious thing you can do is play with the palette, the colors. And you could try a random palette. Thanks. Try it again or just undo to go back to where you came. Another thing you could do is custom palette, a palette editor where you can go right in and play the games. And you could shift the palette. Nose. Like so. That wasn't a very big shift. Anyway, lots of stuff. You can calculate, you can filter, you can, there's a random one. And you can let it run it for you instead of you running it for it. Nice background effect if you do it. I'm not touching anything, and it'll change every so often, and it'll restart every so often. I thought it would have shifted direction by now. This is mine that it's running on. When it starts its next one, it'll do the shifting. Which is about now, I'd say. Oh, shifted on this one. It's random. I guess it just took a long time to hit first time. And so on and so forth. Goodbye. Well, no, let's not goodbye. Let's keep it. File. Save. Rather clipboard it, but I'll save it. And as it's in Dick Pictures, it will be in Dick Pictures. And save it, yes. And it's now saved. Now I'll close this. And I'll go into my file manager. And in my file manager, I'll go to Dick Pictures, right?
The home pictures, yeah.
And home Dick Pictures. And
sorted by modified.
18 August, I guess not. So by modified, I guess it's going to be this one. So I'll pick it up and open with another application. What application could it be? And really, I thought it would be there now. There's no telling, guys. Did it go into the... So yours is going to be down here somewhere. Fotoxx. Okay. Where is it hiding? In that location. Here it is. Nope, didn't pick it up. It's around. I guess now that I'm in this one, see if I can pick it up to that. That's the current album. And
it's called the XPF.
I think Move To might do it.
And it's called the XPF.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a file for
We're going to find out. Or we can convert it. but so that's the one we want. We want to, come on, guys. Really? This is giving trouble for a reason I don't
Oh,
understand.
but it asked you for the destination folder.
Well, let's try again. Open with other application. I'll do it this way again, which should work. Select. I swear. So it's probably here. It's newest, oldest, something.
Aren't they sorted by name?
I could sort by date.
Oh.
Well, I don't know what I want to sort by. I'd rather find the damn thing and click on it. I guess I will have to sort. Oh, I'm in albums. Ah,
Not going to be in an album.
how about gallery? Oh, interview recent. I think it should be in here, but I'm not. Oh, Cherry, in case you don't have the right sign for the car.
Yeah, my car is set on
And
to
let's
fart
see.
mode.
I am looking for that other one in here. Everything but. Okay, this is appropriate for that problem, folks. And this was taken through the car windshields, looking, that's the corner of the license plate in the lower right. I'm looking at a car ahead of us. I will turn it into this using that El Cheapo, El Small camera. So, nice to know what Fotoxx can do. Back in, and I want to mention this. Anybody know what we're looking at here? The answer is the very best picture to date of the center of our Milky Way. Those are stars you're looking at, not planets, way, way away, and not as far as we can get. So that's pretty nice. I took Fotoxx and I turned it into this, and then I turned it into this. And the point here is NASA and other places have any number of great photographs of the stars. And you already know about the steps I took to do this, but one. And the one step is also under edit. And it wasn't under edit. Okay. I thought it was. I'm looking for text. It's under meta. Come on, text. I'm getting tired.
I think it's under effects.
Yeah. Oh, really? Well, you're not right either. That makes me feel better. Thank you.
Edit.
I swear it was under edit. Oh, it's under markup. On edit, markup. And if you look out to the right of it, draw on image, text, line, arrow, box, ellipse, including circle. So we'll do that. And finally, we get to draw text on image. Somebody, before the beginning of the official tour, wanted to know how to draw ovals on. I said you could do that after the fact as a different option. So we'll draw text. And as you might guess, it's got a lot of tools. And the text you want. I think this one is probably a saved one for me. So Ubuntu MMS at the bottom. We'll do that. I could make it a text color that I choose. I'll pick white, select. I'll pick a backing color. I'll pick an outline color. I've got my backing. I'm happy with that backing. The image itself. The
How do you make it red?
red.
Something easy to see.
Nice bright red. And I'll select that. And let's give it a little bit of a black shadow. Just that dark brown shadow.
You're not going to see it on the black.
No, only where it crosses something is where you'll see it. So it'll be interesting. And I could make it embossed. It said how deep an embossing affects, and et cetera, et cetera. But I picked up my file, I adjusted it. I could set a key for doing it and have it come up automatically more quickly next time. I'll just say apply. Said it, I meant it.
Where? Oh, don't you have to click on the background first?
I thought I was keeping the background.
No, I mean, don't. Where do you want to put it on the picture?
Oh, the background is, no, the background is 2% transparent, so it should be showing it. It should work. The
No,
the text is zero
You
transparent.
need to click somewhere out here first.
Well, it said low, but it's just the one I use low. So I have to set a place for it. Although it's called low, it isn't set low. So it's waiting for me to say something like that, tap. And I think it's just a little large.
Size 400.
I'll go down a long way and then we'll talk. Well, let's see if that's forward. And by the way, it's tilted. Here's the angle of tilt. I tilted it to make the verticals in the lettering vertical using the grid. I just sat on it until it turned to that angle, and which we can do right now. Sort of like just a minute. Let's see if I can stop it. I can. See it tipping? You can do things like that. You can do all kinds of things. So I would like to make it bigger. I'll keep both of them for the effect. Don't know why. Let's see. Size, try 100. Enter. Looks more like 160 maybe. And enter. That's about right. So that's the sort of things you can do with it. Now, I don't even see. If I look close, I see the red. And if you've got a big enough screen, you can see it. I can't see the shadow. Oh, well, yes, I can. I'm looking right in here, and I can see the shadow there. It's not very effective, but we can fix that changing the widths. Change this to 3 times as big, and we'll change the the shadow has no width. No wonder. We'll give it the same effect. And now you have it outlined in full and with a lighter brown shadow. Do you see that? You can do lots and lots of things. While you're in that mode, you can, of course, pick a different font here, as well as font size. And you can apply it, and they'll go back in and do something completely different without saving it yet. And you can mix and match and organize where different fonts fit together or side by side, whatever. So it's that simple. And having said that, I think I will go back to the main screen and invite you to try another learning experiment. Try Fotoxx with those new features, or half of them, which will take you a year. And I think we're about there. Can I get back to see you guys?
Yes, you turn off the sharing down here.
This one.
Yes. There you go.
It's been an hour and a half, and I think that's long for you guys. I had another example to do, but you can find good examples to do also. Again,
show them how to find his manual.
Oh, how you're going to how are you going to install Fotoxx? And when it's installed, how are you going to find the manual? Let's go take a quick look back at that. Sorry, I had meant to do that. Thank you, Joe. So we will share the entire screen and allow. And I think we should be back to hither about now.
Open Fotoxx, maybe? And
can someone tell me if they're seeing the Fotoxx screen on full screen?
Yes, it says album at the top.
Good. Okay. I will now go. I'll go online. And online,
well, just go open a new tab.
Okay.
Control T, Alt Control T.
Or does that do it? I think that does it. And my horse knows the way. I'll just say Fotoxx. And I go there quite often. You have this link already online, and I've got it built in because I'm often doing things back and forth. This is very good, except it has a click it to see full size, and you've been here, done that, a file view, a gallery view, a map view, and back and forth, very easy to do. I'd rather go back and
back arrow?
I thought I did. Huh. Must have been while it was busy with Jitsi. Oh, that explains some earlier ones. This YouTube video is good, but it's not good enough. Mike, even now, is reworking it. It's several years obsolete. And I told him about a few things I wasn't quite comfy with, and he's reworking it. This is the kind of cooperation you get. You wouldn't dream of having something like this in Windows. A professional at the store package. But yay fuss. And sample images. And the way in the sample images, I think. Am I right? Oh, this is going to be oh, no, this is good. It's not a video.
Yeah, it is a video.
Well, let's see if I get there fast. One of them is the same Claire, but some years earlier. And it's been doped up a lot with Fotoxx. Like that one just changed. So you're going to enjoy this. There's a before and after it was made artsified in several different ways. That's the embossed effect we were talking about. Here's a famous old picture. And I think it's about to get sharpened, maybe. Yep, got sharpened. And here's a photograph. And each one of them is getting a little different the second half of its view. When they're getting sharpened and they're dark, they're hard to see if you don't look close. This one got a third touch and a fourth. Different effects. You don't have to be a photographer, you can be an artist. Original. I guess just sharpened on that one. This one's getting changed a bit. I'm going to quit. It's taking longer than I thought to get to where I thought it might get. So, back. And downloads is good. You might get an Ubuntu or a Fedora download or what, Mint or what have you. And packages, this is just downloads for computers. This is downloads for packages for Linux. I don't go to either. It's a long overview if this wasn't enough for you. And down under somewhere,
I thought it was in downloads.
this is a quick description of many of those tools. And many, many, many. And I'm looking for something under that. Maybe I have to close it. I'm going to go back one and see if that does it. Nope.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the original route to the, I guess I need the short overview to do it. But that is the short, okay.
Wait, I think you click on downloads.
I'll go to downloads and look. I don't think that's it, but I may be wrong. Oh, I'm about to be wrong. Okay, it's in downloads. I don't use the tar files. Mike, by the way, has other nice programs, and they're in here. And you go about them too. One of them is Fotoxx. And the map files are an option because they take up space on the computer. You don't have to put them in. I go down further. App image are much more friendly. I recommend you get the Fotoxx app image and do that one. And if you're doing the latest, greatest, you go in for the app image. I thought there was another piece down here. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing, and I'm about to find out. Not what I mean.
Cancel.
Okay, I am looking for the latest beta. And he says about it somewhere in here. Honest. Here's the installation procedure for the app image. If you're not used to using them, learn how. I like them more than snaps. And find it totally reliable on this. And it's one more packaging method, more generic, I think. Read about app image here, you can. I'm looking for the...
I think he may not post most of them. He
There's a
emails
way to
it to
get
you.
to it from here.
No,
There is.
they,
There we go. Recent changes.
What?
late,
Okay,
Bill?
say
in
Say again.
late fall, in late fall, he'll may post a beta there, but this time of year, he'll just post the monthly patches like 22.14.
Interesting, because I go here and I find the other normally. I guess I'm in a different mode and he's given me a inroad to those. I can get them every week when they update. But I am using the current release version. I recommend it heartily. And if I can get back, I will. If you have any questions before I leave Fotoxx?
If you go back to the map, I've got an answer for you.
Okay, maybe. Let's see.
Also, how to get from Fotoxx to the help. You have it.
Oh, you wanted my map. And here you have it.
That dot in the Bay of West Africa.
This one?
Yes, that is latitude, longitude 00.
Oh,
uninitialized data.
and it's in the center. It's in the center of the map.
It is a fairly famous spot in geoinformation circles. There's also a farm somewhere in Missouri that occasionally gets raided by the feds because it is the Census Department's geographic center of America. And if you geocode to USA but not to a specific state, that's where USA geocodes to. And so some evildoer downloading child abuse materials who geocodes to USA but not more tightly is reported at their latitude and longitude of their farm.
Poor folks.
Interesting. And we've spent some time in France, and I don't see a mark there. That's interesting. I have some work to do to locate, to get it on there. And Iceland, for that matter. Interesting.
Maybe it just went back to.
And where else? And Japan.
You were going to show find.
Yeah, if you put in place names without the latitude, longitude, it doesn't work on the map.
Uh-huh. Right. The map is map oriented, you might say. I will go back to gallery, and I'll switch to my full gallery, which has more stuff. And in my full gallery, I say album, Tick's favorites. And first of all, this one is a little larger. Oh, I was going to demo something, and it's right here. So without doing it, I'll just show you what I was going to do. I had a picture. Anyone know what I'm looking at here?
I'm still seeing a split screen.
This lovely geometric is looking up the stairwell of a fire tower. And it was taken yesterday by a friend of ours. And I got shipped a full screen that I shrunk down to this size and sharpened a bit. And then, remember, I tried to make my car swirl around and I had some trouble? This is that picture swirled around and with random coloring. And then I took that and I turned it into that. These are some of the tools in the effects area and the warp area in Fotoxx. And I got them in after all. Good. Anything else that people want to do in Fotoxx? Oh, yes, help. How do you get help? The easiest way is you press F1. Anytime, any place. And up the top, it gives you an index into some details, or you could do a find for a word or two that you're looking for. Or you could look at the one you were looking at by just doing it that way.
Yeah, if it's context sensitive, so whatever operation you're in and you say, how the hell do I use this? You press F1 and it will come up in the help at that.
Yes, here we are. I'm in this program. Well, no, I'm not. Effects. No, warp and twist, I'll say. This one is sphere, actually. But I'm in twist. Now I'll hit F1. And bang, it went straight to there. Isn't that nice? And by the way, that's another rather nice demo of what it can do. So this is a very couth built-in online help, and you can get it to where you want very easily that way. Inside out can be kind of scary. Look what stretch can do. The opposite of sphere. So I think I've told you everything, including how to install. Of course, on my Fotoxx top bar, which I guess is not showing.
One question I had earlier.
Live streaming is on.
One question I had earlier was on the Cochituate Rail Trail. There's actually a rotary circle
Yes.
at the Wonder Bread Spur.
Yes. Once upon a time, Wonder Bread came from there,
Yep.
and the railroad had a side spur going right up against the factory so they could leave a freight car there or a
Yeah.
refrigerator car and just pick it up a few days later, swap cars. There were about 4 spurs that I'm aware of on that 1.5 mile section in Natick. And the whole purpose of the spur was to get from the main line in down the Boston Worcester Railroad originally, and eventually the main line to Albany in California, and to run from there up to the mills at the Saxonville Falls. So back in the 1800s, that was worth doing. And
Yeah,
it was
my
worth
que-
doing until about 20 years ago, I think.
Yeah, my question there, I actually remember when Wonder Bread was there. But my question was really, why do they actually have a rotary circle in the middle of the rail trail?
That now serves a lot of parking and a lot of residential area. And it hooks in easily because of that. There's a little bit of rail trail coming to there.
No, he asked, why did they have a rotary?
Well, because it is a major intersection. So you can go in there. For instance, you can go into the malls from there. There's a bunch of apartment
The rail
buildings.
trail, there are no cars on it.
No, that's true. It's a rail trail extension, and it got a rotary.
Yes.
There's another rail trail extension building right now into Cochituate State Park, and there'll be a few more. There's of course the ramp down to Route 9 by where we live, and a few other such things.
I think that they thought it was cute and it gave them a chance to put a granite marker in there.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's also, you've got a hot dog stand right on the rail trail.
Yes, up in just into Framingham by about 2 feet, I think.
Yeah, it's right by TJ Maxx headquarters or
Mhm.
TJX.
And just north of Route 30.
Zippity doo dog.
Yes.
Good hot dogs.
Well, that's
Well, I got to tell you, that square pizza I showed you is even better.
yeah. No, that I used to start my walking right there and then go over up to the
Saxonville.
American Legion, the AMVETS, a little bit beyond that and back.
So you went south.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you were on the. Did you ever do that before it was paved?
No, I did other rail trails. I used to start at Saxonville,
Aha.
next to the Walgreens where the rail trail actually starts, and I used to go up to the bridge, and then I changed
The bridge
when
at
they-
Route 9?
No, the bridge at Route 30.
Ah, okay.
And then when they built the bridge, we started going over the bridge.
Well, not to brag, but I used to walk up when there were still trains running on it to my job at Zare, which is now TJX.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of times was walking by when they were flipping the switch to shunt up to Wonder Bread versus going straight.
Yep.
And so I talked to the guy that was doing it. I said, "Oh, wow, this is cool. My granddad used to be a brakeman on the Great Northern in Minnesota."
Yep.
And so after that, if they were going in the same direction I was, they would give me a ride
Yeah.
In the locomotive.
in the locomotive.
Yeah, I
It was-
remember when the
Oh, yeah.
Zares, I remember when the Zares headquarters was actually on Commonwealth Ave in Boston,
Oh,
because they were right across the street from my father's office, which was at that time JM Fields,
aha.
which was one of Zare's competitors.
Right. They had it up the street from us where I still have things with JM Field stickers on them because you
Yeah.
can never get those damn stickers off.
I was in that building when I was 15, when it had a dirt floor. But yeah, JM Fields was the Feldmans and Zare's was the Feldbergs.
Ah,
Right.
so your family?
My family was JM Fields.
Whoa! So you're
JM
Jerry Fields.
Yeah, my uncle Joe, he's Joseph Maxwell Feldman.
Ah, good to know.
That's where the JM comes from.
I wanted to say one thing more. I should have said it at the beginning. I talked about Miller Micro, two things more. I talked a little about Miller Micro Computer Services switching into Linux back when. I want to point out that we do consulting, and I think most of you maybe do the same thing or don't need consulting. But we do also sell computers and associated equipment. And I wanted to introduce my computer and the one we've sold the most of, two different things, because I think they're interesting. I've basically got about a $2,000 computer up the street at the stores. I pay $750 for it, new. And it was about to go out. They were selling out for the next year model. And I liked it a lot. It was a chosen one I liked. I got it for $650. I took out its storage and put in a 1 terabyte SSD, and that ran the bill up another $100. So it's a $750 hotshot computer. It has 16 gigs of RAM, 1920 by 1080 display, pretty light, almost no frame around the screen itself. A nice camera, as I hope you were able to see tonight, and et cetera, et cetera. But with 16 gigs, a Core i7 CPU, and a terabyte of SSD, it's a hell of a lot of computer for very little money. The ones we usually sell are a little different. Let me see if I can go find one fast here. And they're cheaper. They go for typically $350, factory refurbished. They're a top-of-the-line computer from some years back. So on the one hand, they're not the latest model. But on the other hand, they're the version from Dell that's apt to last 3 times longer than the regular ones. Their top-of-the-line ones last on most brand names. So we get those factory refurbished when we can, and we sell them with our stuff added. And that costs another $250 for a very full computer. You have Fotoxx and 30 other things like that, and all the regulars. And we normally put on a version of Ubuntu called Ubuntu Unity. It has the Unity front end that we like best after Ubuntu developed it and then left it behind. A lot of people thought that was a bad mistake, and it's been maintained ever since. We'd put on another version if people want, and I'm running a few interesting ones on this computer in addition, mostly for demo purposes, but they're nice too. So if anyone wanted a fully loaded computer set up, ready to go, we can turn over one for $600 when we can pick up that good a computer refurbished for $250, or $350 rather. And of course, you can do the same tricks yourself. looking for them online and grabbing them when they're available, when you know it's the one you like. So I just want to tell you we do that too. And we have a hell of a lot of computer carrying cases, really nice ones, things like that. But the point to me is my supercomputer and my excellent camera, so good as a phone that I don't use a regular camera anymore, and the phone all together cost way under $1,000 and free software for life. That's what FOSS is about, and we love it, and that's what we do, so we like our job too. In addition to that, I wanted to point out, as I said at the beginning, that we started the FOSS user group in Natick. It's a little different. It runs once a month on a Thursday evening, a Thursday afternoon, correction, starts at 3, and it might go 2 hours, and we might cover 20 topics in that time and describe what you're going to like about each, demo it a little, or talk about it a little, answer questions about it, and then give you 1 or 2 URLs for it so you can click later and go to the ones that interested you and have a ball. They're all up online too at natickfoss.org. So if you just go to natickfoss.org, you can see the old ones. You can see the links.
Well, you go to the archive.
You can do a search. When you get to the main page for natickfoss.org, near the top, you'll find a few links. And one of them will be to the archives. That's all our old talks on YouTube, just like you folks. So thank you for inviting me. I'm inviting you. You can look anytime you like. We have a discussion forum anytime you like. And once a month, you can hop on live if you want, or you can just get on the version that's going into YouTube and watch it live at that time. A lot of choices. Thank you so much. I'll ask again, were there any remaining questions?
Okay, thank
If
you
not,
very much.
thank you. Have a good day and a good week.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.